I want to talk about the pros and the cons of Mortal Kombat 1, the things that I think are amazing and the things that I think could use a lot of work or just shouldn't be in the game. And not only that, things that they did attempt and just fell flat on its face. Also, I think the timing works because MK1 is on a big sale and we're about to roll into a new year. I've been wanting to make this video to give a genuine take. It seems like in the MK community when it comes to MK1, there's two camps that are really big. You either hate Mortal Kombat 1, you can call it dead, you can call it awful, and you can spend all day talking about how bad it is. And there's the other camp that I would say is equally as bad. It is people that are just sucking up to Mortal Kombat. They can't do no wrong. If you don't like it, then you must be the problem. So I'm going to be jumping into different areas and giving genuine takes whether I like it or I don't like it. I'm Scotty Combat and I appreciate you popping in here today. I want to share one of the greatest features of Mortal Kombat 1, and this is what keeps me coming back to the game, and that is the fighting mechanics. Mortal Kombat 1 reinvents the wheel every time it makes a new game. There's a lot of people who are familiar with MK11 or started with MK11, and to give a direct comparison now, I have to say I enjoy MK1 better with fighting mechanics than I do MK11. I think MK1 has more complexity, but it's not too difficult. One of the most controversial things is the introduction of the cameos. I just think it's a lot more fun giving characters different play styles rather than just a couple variations, even if you could customize them. Is the cameo system perfect? It's not, but it's very playable and very enjoyable. Now, why I really do enjoy cameos, I don't think it's a feature that should come back in every Mortal Kombat game. Like I said, I do like how they change up the games each time, and while I really do enjoy the cameos, I do have my complaints, which leads me to the cameo roster. I don't like how there's mirrors on the cameo roster. These spaces could be filled with characters from previous games, and if they wanted to get innovative and bring new characters, I would rather prefer something different than Janet Cage. I really think they could have used more standout characters like Tremor, for example. I really do enjoy seeing Goro and Mataro on here, but I do feel like they're very underused. But that in itself isn't a complaint for me, because if I do see someone using Goro or Mataro, I like seeing that because they're a rarity and very cool characters. Going back to my cameo roster criticism, that would be about 5 to 6 slots taken up by repeat characters that could have been used for 5 or 6 other characters that we haven't seen in the game. Having Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Kung Lao, Sector, Cyrax, Janet Cage if you want to count that as Johnny Cage. While I don't complain of their abilities per se, it's more so of the presence of character that's taking away from potential for other characters to be here. I give the fighting mechanics from Mortal Kombat 1 a genuine 9 out of 10. Now, me scoring the fighting mechanics comes from the place of a casual because I'm not a professional player, so as long as I'm having a good time, that's all that matters. Mortal Kombat 1 is in the top 3 of my all-time favorite fighting mechanics from Mortal Kombat. The Warrior Shrine is one of the worst additions to Mortal Kombat 1. Had the name Warrior Shrine been left out of the UI, I don't think it would have been as big of a deal once it showed up. It said coming soon for more than half a year, especially considering the early life of MK1 when we didn't have crossplay and we still don't have lobbies. Many theories spread like wildfire about what the Warrior Shrine could be. I see no point in the Warrior Shrine truthfully. This is my second time being in here, and that's just for the sake of reviewing it. The only thing I like about the Warrior Shrine are the top 5 players that do allow for replays to be watched off their file when you click on the statue. What sucks about that is not every player has to do that. I do have to give credit where credit's due. It is nice that some of these pro players can show the experience to anyone curious in seeing their last 10 replays, but the engagement here is very little and it really doesn't do much for me. I give it a 2 out of 10. Another feature I would like to share that I'm not a big fan of in Mortal Kombat 1 would be the shrine. I really do like the shrine when there's rewards in it. However, there seems to be a trend of not having rewards in it. Unfortunately, the shrine has become disappointing as it's now almost half and half. And when I say half and half, I mean half of the seasons have had a shrine with rewards and then almost another half hasn't had any. If you look at the bottom right, and I know it's kind of dark, but I have about 500,000 gold coins. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do with them. Anytime the shrine has been full, you can only get 45 items out of it, meaning 45,000 gold. Now for me, even one really nice thing a season could make a big difference for the shrine. For example, in Season 5, if you didn't get the Tea House Rain from the previous season, it was available in the shrine the next season. Having a stage variant available to unlock is such an amazing reward. That reward also starts to feel more powerful when it becomes exclusive because it is yet to return back to the game. However, before I give my rating for the shrine, I do want to share this. If exclusive Combat League skins are available now in the Legacy Tower for other players, the novelty of being a Combat League skin is no longer there as far as being earned through Combat League. League, then I think the least they could do is at least make this stage available for other players who haven't been able to unlock it yet. It's a different way of getting rewards, unlike the Crypt that we've seen in several other Mortal Kombat games. They later added a feature where you could get 10 items at once if you had the currency for it, so when the shrine was available, I would give it a 7 out of 10. However, in its current state, with nothing to obtain from it, there's really nothing good to say about it. There is a lot more good than bad to be said here for the roster of Mortal Kombat 1. Many classic characters are back on this one, as well as many of the 3D characters that we haven't seen in years. If Mortal Kombat Trilogy's roster and Mortal Kombat Armageddon's roster had a baby, it would be Mortal Kombat 1. We get many characters from both games, but we're also missing just a few from each one. And some people in my audience have never experienced the 3D era or the games before it. If you do get the chance to go back to play some of the previous games, your opinion may change. It is in my top 3. Mortal Kombat 1's roster truly is that amazing. It's up there with Trilogy and Armageddon. The difference is Armageddon and Trilogy were the end of their own eras. Mortal Kombat 1 would have a wild roster if it included all the NRS characters, and I'm really happy that they didn't go with that approach. The newer characters we did get in Mortal Kombat 1, or I should say from the NRS era, are Farah and Takeda. Aside from those, many of these characters are callbacks we haven't seen in decades. So speaking in terms of just Mortal Kombat characters on the roster, I give the score a 9.5 out of 10. It truly is almost perfect for what they can do. I'm also not including cameos in that rating. However, we're still on the roster, and I'm going to give this one a separate grade, and that is the combat packs. Now, if you do want to include Mortal Kombat 9, that's 4 different MK games with combat packs. And exclusively speaking just for guest characters, Mortal Kombat 1 has the worst one for me. I get it, this attracted a lot of people to Mortal Kombat to play these characters, Homelander, Peacemaker, Omni-Man. However, I think these characters are way more suited to be in an Injustice game. Regarding combat packs for guest characters, MK1 is at the very bottom one for me. There is some saving grace though. There are some characters I do like as guest characters, Ghostface being one of them. Yeah, I think Ghostface is a great addition to the game. I get a little bit of the MKX feel. I think horror characters are the best characters for Mortal Kombat. And to be fair, MKX really upped the ante and made a high bar to pass. And although I don't play as much because I tend to stick to just a few characters which are my favorites, I really appreciate his presence in the game, and I do look forward to seeing T-1000 in MK1. I've always wondered what the Liquid Terminator is going to be like in a Mortal Kombat game. So I can't say guest characters are a complete flop in this game, but there's plenty more that I would prefer to see, or just more Mortal Kombat characters. Just based off that, I give it a 3 out of 10. The next one here I am a little more critical on. I'm sure most of you may know this by now, but I'm not the biggest fan of Mortal Kombat 1's default designs for all the characters. However, that's not the case for all of them. Now, I do like a lot of them, but I feel like MK1 did a really big change, and I prefer most of the older games' takes on the characters' designs, but there are a few with an exception like Ashura. I think Ashura had a great glow up here, and aside just from the demon, I think the outfit looks better too. But if I'm going to compare Sub-Zero from MK1 to MK9 Sub-Zero, or the Sub-Zero from MKX, I'm going to have to give it to those games first. I think Sub-Zero looks better there. As far as the ninjas, I do prefer their original looks like with the hood or cowl, and I'm really not a big fan of the hairstyle here, the man bun. Now, I think Bihan looks great. As a character, he looks great. It's the outfit I prefer. I think this looks much better, and it's very clean. This is Sub-Zero. And with that being said, I do give Mortal Kombat 1 credit for most of their adaptations for the classic skins. They really did nail it when it comes to the classic ninjas. An example of a default skin that I prefer over a classic would be Li Mei. I like her default skin here more than the Deception adaptation. But again, I really do like the iteration of the classic skins in MK1. They're very simple, yet they look really good. I really would like to see more original skins like the Earthrealm pack, and I could be here all day giving individual ratings to each character, but I doubt you guys want me to do that, so I'm just going to generalize it now. For the designs of the default roster on MK1, I give it a score of about 5.5 to 6 out of 10. For example, I think Ermac looked awful when the game first debuted. Thankfully, they added the mask to him. Using Noob Saibot as an example, I think he looks better in most other MK games as well. I prefer the original Deadly Alliance Sub-Zero design, but I still think this adaptation looks good too. Considering all classic skin throwbacks, I'm gonna grade this an 8.5 out of 10. The UMK3 are my favorites. These would be like my 10 out of 10s. And there's much more I want to share with you guys, but I don't want to make really long videos, so if you'd like to see more, please do leave a like. Now, Mortal Kombat 1 as a fighter, with the options we have available now through classic skins, it's easy for me to give it a high score like an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Mortal Kombat 1 really is one of my favorite Mortal Kombat games. I really just wanted to do like a surface level grading on some of these topics. Again, this video is different than most of my other Mortal Kombat videos, so please do like it if you would like to see more content like this. I will go into more detail, I just want to know if it's something you guys like to see. I highly doubt anyone's going to agree on every single take I just made, which is why I love you guys as an audience. This channel doesn't have to be constantly kissing up to MK1 or constantly spitting on it. And with that being said, I really want to see your guys' pros and cons of MK1 in the comments. I look forward to reading your takes. I will see you guys live and or in the next video. Much love everyone, and take care.